Hi, it's Miss One here. I want to welcome you to this week's class where I will teach you how to ink and colour the focus drawing in Beaverton that we started last week. So first of all, I'd like to go over what art supplies you will need for this week's class. You will need paper, black marker, ruler, eraser and colouring pencils. So today's art class is going to be divided into two parts. The first part of the art class, you will learn how to ink your artwork. In the second part of the art class, you're going to learn how to colour your artwork. So I would like you to have your marker ready. We're going to go over all the pencil lines with a black marker. That way we'll get to make everything a little bit more well defined. So now that you've done the moon, I'd like you to start inking the Beaverton sign. First of all with the lettering, which doesn't have to be perfect because this is just for practice. And then I want you to have a ruler and straighten out the lines for the Beaverton sign so it looks more like a piece of wood. And usually when you use the marker, you can correct any mistakes that you think you may have done. Next, I want you to work on the beaver. I would like you to use the ruler as much as possible. So we're going to use the ruler for the bottom of his shoes and the bottom of his body. And then we're going to freehand the other shapes, defining his body. And when you're doing the head, try and do it in 1 or 2 strokes only so that it has like a really smooth look and feel to it. And then you can do the eyes and the nose and the teeth. And don't forget to add the whiskers. And that's your beaver. Next, I want you to do the tree. And I want you to take a ruler and give the tree some straight edges because it just looks so much cooler with a steady stroke. And then I want you to add the tinsel by using a ruler and making the tinsel kind of stripy. Next, I want you to do the head for focus. Next, I want you to do the body. Next, I want you to do the arms and the hands. And I want you to put a face on focus. Next, I want you to put the disco ball tiles on focus because Focus wears a disco ball outfit because that's his superpower, is being able to manipulate light in many ways. And now I want you to make the outline of Focus a little bit thicker, and so that way you can differentiate his body with the tiles. Next, I would like you to ink the reindeer. And now I want you to work on inking yourself as a superhero. Now I don't want you to shade the hair colour because we're going to colour it later on with colouring pencils. So just do the outline for now and we'll start colouring later on. And finally, I want you to draw the ground. So now that your drawing's complete, I want you to take the eraser to erase all the pencil marks. And there you have it, a completed drawing of you as a local superhero with Focus the autistic superhero and Beaverton friends. Now that you have completed the inking process, I'm going to teach you a few things about colouring techniques. So there are different effects you can achieve by the way you handle your pencil. So if you apply light pressure, the colours will come out lighter. If you apply medium pressure, it will appear a little bit darker. If you apply a lot of pressure, then it will be extremely dark and more solid. If you have trouble applying light pressure to your pencil, you can handle the pencil from the top. You will notice the colours will be a lot lighter as a result of the way you're holding the pencil. The directions of your strokes is important, so I highly recommend that you use one direction when you are shading. If you apply your strokes in different directions, you will notice that the colours will be inconsistent as a texture. Another stroke you might want to consider is applying cross-hatching, and that involves colouring in one direction for the first layer, and then the second layer you do the opposite direction, and that way you would be able to cover the full area very thoroughly and have a more solid appearance in pigmentation. Another texture you might want to consider is circular motions. This provides a different texture and can be very useful depending on what texture you prefer. Another technique you might want to try is layering. You can choose 2 different colours and put them on top of each other, creating new colour tones. So now that your artwork is inked, I want you to apply everything that you know to this drawing. So we're going to take the yellow colouring pencil and we're going to colour in the moon by shading in one direction. I want you to press hard so that the colours are extra vibrant. Feel free to do a second layer if you want, if you see some white bits. So you want the entire area to be covered with colouring pencil. And then try your best to colour within the lines, because it always looks better if you colour within the lines. Next, I would like you to pick up the brown colouring pencil and colour in the beaver. Again, I want you to try your best to colour in the lines and try to keep the teeth white. If you accidentally colour over the lines, you can actually use an eraser and correct it. So once you've done the entire head, I want you to work on the tail and the body. So as you can see, my pencil is now blunt. So whenever that happens, I want you to take a sharpener and sharpen your pencil. If you don't, you're going to end up with wood scratches all over the paper. Now that you've done the beaver, I want you to colour in everything else except the sky. I recommend that you colour the tree in green, because trees are green in general, and the trunk in brown. So Focus is normally grey because he is a disco ball. So if you have a grey colouring pencil, then please use that. And if you want, you can colour the elk brown because that's its natural colour. But if you don't want to, you can colour the elk any colour you want, because this is a cartoon and this is your character creation. So you can use any colour you want for fun. And next, I want you to colour in yourself as a superhero, and you can colour yourself any colour you want. I suggest that you colour the hair colour the same colour as yours, so that it looks a little bit more like you. And then you can pick a colour that's similar to your own skin colour for the face and the hands. Next, you can colour the costume any colour you want. Normally capes are red, so if you drew a cape on yourself, then feel free to use red if you want, but it doesn't have to be red if you don't want to. So just pick any colour that has meaning to you. Next, I want you to take the marker and draw the snow all over the picture like this. Once you have coloured all your characters, feel free to take the marker and go over some of the black lines if they are beginning to look a bit faded. I want you to find a really dark purple or a really dark blue and colour in the sky. And as you do this, I want you to colour in one direction and colour in within the lines. If you have time, you're more than welcome to do 2 layers, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So just to summarise, the directions of the strokes matter, the pressure that you apply matters, the amount of layers that you apply also matters, and it's also important that you factor in highlights and shadows using whites and darker colours and the burnisher too. And always use a blender if you have that available to you, because it's always going to make your art pop. So now that you've completed your drawing of Focus in Beaverton, I hope you really like it and show it to your friends and family. I also hope that you will continue with drawing and colouring at every opportunity you have, so that you can become the best artist you can be.